College football announcer Keith Jackson referenced the granddaddy of them all, referencing the Rose Bowl. One of my personal favorites, so I get to throw this in here. Jack Buck. And we'll see you tomorrow night, referencing the Minnesota Twins and the Kirby Puckett hitting the home run, Game 6 of the World Series. We also, many of you will remember, never forget Sunday night, Mitch Holtis announcing Kansas City Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 54. There you go.
Yeah.
All of those phrases bring out the strongest emotions, the positive feelings towards each event. They leave us speechless. They leave us in awe. Tonight our emotions come out again. Tonight we reference our community and our school. Tonight we coin the phrase, once an eagle, always an eagle. Welcome to the first ever Kingman Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Welcome. We started this idea about a year ago, started thinking about this very evening. Many questions were asked, and we reached out to others. We wanted to make the Kingman Hall of Fame the granddaddy of them all. A few weeks ago, I was asked, what would I have done differently at that point? I paused and hesitated, and in the end, I can't answer that question. But I still reflect on that question today. Right now, I would not change a thing. The foundation we built a year ago, the golf tournament we hosted this past summer, and the first Hall of Fame class has been perfect. With that, I'd like to acknowledge the group of individuals who have helped be part of this whole process. I want to introduce the Hall of Fame committee members. They are truly dedicated to our school and to our community. Bill Kelly is one of them, currently not here, currently busy coaching basketball. Ross Bruggeman, same place. He's in the other gym coaching basketball. The other one, Toby Munns. Toby Munns down here, baseball coach, teacher, very, very passionate about Kingman. Joni Watkins, over there, teacher, married somebody from Kingman, so she's here forever. And that's a good thing. Max Clark. Max Clark, interim superintendent, graduate in 1976. He left for a couple years, but he's been here forever. And Lance Dixon. Lance Dixon has stories to tell, also graduate in 76. He could tell you every stat that's happened in Kingman, every year, every person. He remembers them all. So, guys, Joni, thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Tonight we recognize 4 individuals who have left a legacy at Kingman High School. They represented themselves, their families, and our community with the utmost character and integrity. They are forever Kingman Eagles. Lance.
Our first inductee, Dr. Lester Donnelly. In 1942, KHS graduate, quarterbacked the Eagle football team to an undefeated season in 1941. He then attended Kansas State University for 1 year before being drafted into the Army. He served 3 years in the Army Medical Corps. After discharge, he finished his undergraduate work at Wichita State University and then spent 5 years at the Kansas City College of Osteopathic Medicine. Along with his father and brother, he built and operated the Donley Hospital and then later Donley Clinic. He practiced medicine at Kingman for over 50 years. He also served his community through his church, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Lions Club. And if I could just take a moment to share my favorite memory of Dr. Lester. When I was a junior in high school, I broke my nose. I was taken to the clinic by the football manager, and Dr. Lester laid me out on the exam table. My bridge of my nose somewhere over here underneath my right eye. And I think he got way too much enjoyment. I mean, he pushed on that thing and it sounded like a rifle shot. And And then he tried again. It didn't go any further. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Lester Donnelly. Lester has prepared a short video. If you guys will sit back and play that, he'll talk about his days at Kingman High School.
Thank you, Lance, and your committee for selecting the football team of 1941 for this honor of we received this evening into the Kingman High School Hall of Fame. It's a good thing that we're having it. I think I'm in favor of it very much. I am receiving this honor for the high school football team of 1941-42. We are the only known football team from Kingman High School that had a record of being undefeated, untied, and receiving mention in the papers as being the second best fourth class school football team in Kansas in 41. We were undefeated, untied, and that is not had not been accomplished before or since 1941. I will mention the names of the team. Most of them are seniors. I'll mention who are other than seniors. Ansel Potter was the left end, Owen Harper left tackle, H.O. Salmons left guard, Lawrence Kuhn center, Jack Baker right guard, Lloyd Dixon right tackle, Marvin Campbell right end, Adrian Wallace right halfback, Gene Brand left halfback, Harrison Ashcraft was the fullback, and I, Lester Donnelly, was the quarterback. The substitute teams or substitutes for our team, all of those mentioned before were seniors except Adrian Wallace, and he was a junior. Our substitutes were Adrian McCutcheon, Bud Mercer, Joe Ryan, Buddy Fairchild.
Okay, Dad, stop. Let's start with your substitute team again. Our
Substitute teams. Substitutes for our team were Adrian McCutcheon, Bud Mercer, Joe Ryan, Buddy Fairchild, Dean Starkey, Dee Elder, Jimmy Cheatham, Bob Stuckey, Bernard Thisson, and Hobart Campbell. There were several others that were substitutes, but I don't have a record of where they played and who they were at this time. They were all juniors. There were 2 seniors. The rest were juniors or sophomores. We couldn't have done this season if it hadn't been for having a wonderful coach, Coach Chalmers Woodard. He was later coach for, after he was 2 years in Kingman, he went to, was head coach at Dodge City High School, which had a winning record. In following that 2 years, he was 2 years in Lawrence, Kansas High School, head coach, and then while he was there, he was selected to be the head football coach at McPherson College. He took his longest stretch there. I don't know just exactly how many years, but he was there at least 10 years, maybe 12 or more years, where he and his family lived for that period of time. After being a head football coach at McPherson, he was selected to be the head football coach at Southern Methodist University in Texas. He was there for several years, then was selected as the head football coach at Wichita State University, where he finished out his career and retired after serving there as their head coach in Wichita. Then he retired into business. One of the main reasons we were a good team, even though we were not physically qualified to be a big, strong team, he taught us the T formation and was one of the first coaches in the state of Kansas to use the T formation and variations of it, and was quite successful because of its changing, and it still is one of the main types of running, passing, and style of games that most of the colleges and professionals play with to this day. Again, I want to thank you for the privilege of representing this team for the Kingman High School Hall of Fame. And if there's any questions you'd like to ask me later, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
All right. Next Hall of Famer, Kingman Hall of Famer, Don Locke, a 1954 graduate, was a star football, basketball, track athlete at Kingman High School. He led the Eagles to a state runner-up title in 1954. 1954 Kansas State basketball tournament. After high school, he attended Wichita University, playing both baseball and basketball. His basketball coach was Wichita University was the legendary Ralph Miller. He was drafted by the New York Yankees and played Major League Baseball from 1962 to 1969 for the Washington Senators, Philadelphia Phillies, and Boston Red Sox. His best seasons were in 1963 and 1964, when he hit 27 and 28 home runs and drove in 82 and 80 runs respectively. He led All-American League center fielders with putouts, assists, and double plays in both years. Don is a member of the Wichita State Hall of Fame and the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. Mr. Don Locke passed away in 2017. Accepting this award this evening is his son, Darren Locke.
Thank you, that's very nice. Thank you on behalf of Don and my sister and I and the family. Really appreciate that. He would have really enjoyed, and I appreciate this honor as well. I'd like to thank the administration in Raleigh for putting this together. Also, the school board. I think this is a wonderful thing that you've done. It shows you recognize and appreciate accomplishment. I think that's good to show all the community, and it's a wonderful thing that you've done. So we appreciate that, and in keeping with one of Don Locke's mantras, short speeches are best.
Tiger, I have a quick question for you. Can you read this? Yeah. Let me see. Don't worry, we can there's something else. Yeah. Hi, I'm Max Clark, 1976 grad, Kingman High School. And also, as Raleigh said, I'm superintendent of schools here, which is quite an honor. I'm also on the Hall of Fame board of, are we a board of directors or are we just a Hall of Fame board? I don't know exactly what we are, but we had a great time settling in on these four inductees into this inaugural Hall of Fame. The question that came up many times is, where do we start? Because there are so many high-quality graduates from Kingman High School, and we know that we kind of settled in. Raleigh didn't give too much history on this, but we settled in on 4 for our starting year of this, and we plan to do this for many years to come. We've got a nice plaque out in the vestibule of what we call the new gym, the varsity gym that was built 20 years ago. And there's a lot of spaces for a lot more names, so there are a lot more names to come. So if anybody's wondering why people got left out this go around, it's because we want to keep doing this every year. So I have the privilege of doing the introduction for Mr. Ed Craig. I'm guessing that everybody out there has memories of all 4 of these inductees. I certainly do, and since Lance started sharing a little personal memory, I want to thank you, Dr. Lester, for preserving Lance's good looks. I remember that well when he did get his nose broken. He didn't tell you the whole story of how it happened, but it wasn't on a football field. It was in the hallway right out here, and we might have been messing around with somebody that we shouldn't have been. And it was a foot to the schnoz is what it was. Holy mackerel. But I have memories of Dr. Lester as well. I remember being in early high school and needing to get my tonsils taken out because I was tired of being sick with tonsillitis all the time. He said, how do we go about doing this? He said, oh, we'll take you out here to the hospital. And I said, I don't like being put under. He said, don't worry, you don't have to be. Tonsils, you don't have to get put under. Dr. Lester sat me down in a chair and numbed me up, and he said, put your hand on my thigh. Why? He said, well, if you start feeling it, tap my thigh. And he put a little shield on, and he literally took my tonsils out with me panting like a little puppy dog, and so that was one of my Dr. Lester memories. Many, many, many more, because stepson Rick and I were Rick Ginner were very close friends in high school, and ran around a lot, so I spent a lot of time at their house. Don Locke. I was born in Kingman. We left Kingman, and I came back when I was in first grade, and I was starting to have interest in sports such as baseball. We moved into the Copa apartments, and the first thing I found out was that the guy that lived right next door to us was a Major League Baseball player named Don Locke. That was pretty cool for a six-year-old kid. So first memories of Don. Chad Hartley. Chad happens to be in the same class as my oldest daughter. Sorry, Abby. So we've got some stories and some memories of Chet, and Chet being homecoming queen, and King, and my daughter being queen. I think there's a connection between Chet and the kid that my daughter married, because one of his, the guy that played on the other side of the offensive line. I think Chad introduced him to my daughter, who introduced him to his cousin, and the rest is history. And I've got 2 grandkids because of that. So, but that's exciting as well. So, on to Mr. Craig. I was just talking to Tiger because Tiger helped put together a little introductory bio, and I don't want to steal your whole thing, but I may be stealing a bunch of it, but it's some great stories. It says Ed Craig was born in Earlton, Kansas. How many of you have heard of Earlton, Kansas? Because I hadn't until I read this, but that was in the great year of 1926. He was raised in Independence, Kansas, and then he moved to western Kansas. I call it really west, Sublette, during the Dust Bowl, and went there through 8th grade. Wasn't middle school back then. Then he ultimately graduated from Independence High School. In late high school and early college, he led a varsity dance band called Shake a Leg with Eddie Craig. In the heartland of this band evidently toured from the heartland of Texas to Nebraska and Iowa. He ultimately graduated from Independence Community College and was granted what was called back then a temporary teaching certificate from Southwestern College. He got a job in the wonderful great town of Kingman, Kansas in 1955, I believe. He developed a program from 40 students in each band. When I say each band, I'm talking the junior high band and the senior high band, to over 275 kids in band. How many of you were in band with Mr. Craig out here? A lot of us, absolutely. Mr. Craig strived to have the best band literature available for all of the Kingman concert bands. His bands often performed many transcriptions that are considered difficult at the college level because he wanted Kingman students to be familiar with the great music of the world. And that is an absolute truth statement. He expected much from the Kingman students, and I think we delivered. I think you delivered. Yeah. He was instrumental in the design of this auditorium. The story is that engineers from MIT were involved in this. We think that the design of the whole stage and everything was kind of skewed towards vocal and instrumental music and not theater. Sans the high roof where you could pull sats up and down, but that's the clout that Mr. Craig had, and this is still to this day. We bring people in on a regular basis and they tour this facility, and they are so impressed by this wonderful auditorium and this high school as well, and the durability of it. That was built in 1963. Ed appreciated the work and worked with fellow directors in strong programs in the area. Wendell Hodges, many of you remember him from Anthony Harper's Chaparral, the competitions that we had with that band. Bob Lee was another dynamic program in Haven, and a guy named Ray James at Bueller. And those are really the 4 bands in the 60s and 70s and 80s that really competed. So who was going to be the bestest of them all? He had a motto, and it was in the music room: "Look and act proud." It was always posted in large letters, reminding that the band represented the community. Mr. Craig instilled a strong sense of community as students regularly performed in the Christmas parade, rodeo parade, the Walnut Hill Cemetery for Memorial Day. We always had to come back and go play. And we act like we didn't like it, but we loved it because we got so many compliments. He was a supporter of the Lions Club, and the Lions Club supported him and our students by sending band kids to the Lions International Band on several years. How many of you remember this? Wagner's Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral.
Yeah.
I got to play timpanis. Boom, man, I got in, and I loved that. I had the privilege of doing that for 4 straight years, because even as seniors, would go back, I think, or was it just 3? I can't remember if he made seniors even in their rows go, yeah, we probably did. So, but it was again an honor. Always a memory for graduating seniors during this commencement. Coaches appreciated the marching band and the pep band for basketball. Mr. Craig also had Kingman bands participate in college band days each day, or each year, each 3 to 4 years, to give Kingman youth an opportunity to experience campus on their colleges. I can remember doing pregame at KU. I can remember parking clear on the south side of campus and having to hike all the way up the hill and down into Memorial Stadium. And you all remember when we were in uniform, when you were outside, did you have your hat on or off? You had it on. Did you have it cocked back? No. Were you unbuttoned? No. It was down, tight, and it was military-like precision. And that's the same thing we did walking clear across campus, but it was a great memory. Now, Mr. Craig was elected to the Kansas Music Educators Hall of Fame in 1993. He was recognized as an outstanding band director by Kansas Band Association in '84, and he received the MAC Award for Band Director at the end of his teaching career. He's also been president of the Bandmasters, state chairman of ASBDA, which I don't know what that is, Tiger will tell you that, and state president of Phi Beta Mu. He's got 3 kids. Kit, where you at, Kit? I saw Kit here earlier, I think. Yeah, Kit's over there. Candy. And then we've got Tiger on the stage, sitting next to his dad. They're all KHS alumni. He's got 1 grandchild. Jim Freeman, Terry Dixon, Harpwell, Will Cooper, Julie Spainauer, Sally Geiser are a few of his students that followed him into music education. Mr. Craig ran a tight ship and treated his high school students like adults. They appreciated the discipline and respect and performed at a top-notch level for this man. I remember Mr. Craig, he would give me a hard time because we served after he retired on downtown redevelopment board here in Kingman. He was always committed to the community. He liked to tease me, and he told me, he said, "Max, you were a great drummer." I said, "Thank you, Mr. Craig." He said, "Do you know what drum stands for?" I said, "Just the backbone of the band, the guy that can." He said, "Don't really understand music." Probably a lot of truth. He pegged me in 6th grade, and anyway, that said, it's a great honor. Sorry, Don Locke, I got a little too long-winded, but Mr. Ed Craig.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here, and a big thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee, to Kingman High School, and the community of Kingman. And I'll just want to add a few notes in. My brother Kid did a great job helping on the 50s and 60s because I was this tall, giving a good rest of the picture. So I want to add some texture to that and talk a little about family too. So this wasn't done alone. So Ed married Glenna Graham in 1947. They've been married 72 years. He got married in late September, and he had just started his first job in Granola, and that was the day after he got his first paycheck. So had a great tradition through that. Of course, 3 children, Candy and Tiger, and 6 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Again, Kit graduated in 1966. Candy in 1971, and I graduated in 1982. Grandson Kent Nashcraft graduated in 2002. And great-grandson Ethan is currently a KHS senior in band and choir. Talk a little bit about the 50s and 60s. Dad's first year In Kingman in 55-56 began with an orchestra and a band, and the alternated days of rehearsal. Unfortunately, this was a recipe for mediocrity, and both groups got 3s at music festival. Next year, Ed canceled the orchestra and the band got 2s at music contest. And then the third year, in 1958, began a run of consecutive 1 ratings that lasted until he retired. The Kingman band received many 1+ ratings over the years. The 1+ rating was rare before Ed. The judges would give 1 ratings as the day went on, and they were given no choice but to give Kingman band a 1+, as KHS was always a superior group. In the 1950s and 60s, when being well-rounded as a scholar, musician, athlete was more common, the band sometimes suffered at home football games because the majority of the brass section was on the football field. Ed prided himself on the fact that 5 of his clarinet players over the years were also quarterbacks on the football team. That includes Kit, and that includes Lance. Talked a little about Elsa's and also about Looked and Act Proud. That was really representing the community of Kingman. And that was a very good public relations move on Ed's part, and the rule meant that band members carried themselves with pride. Every time anyone saw a KHS band member, they always looked sharp, and one could tell merely by looking that the organization was special. Ed strived to have the best band literature available for Kingman concert bands. He expected much, and Kingman students delivered. Dad's primary educational priority was to bring the highest level of music to the students and community of Kingman. 3 generations of Kingman residents are familiar with the music of Tchaikovsky, Verdi, Wagner, Shostakovich, Prokofiev, Debussy, Bernstein, and many more. It's important to note that many of these were direct transcriptions of the original orchestral works and were usually considered to be college level and not high school, so he really raised the bar. So Kit Candy and I all played in college. Kit and Candy have continued to play professionally, and grandchildren Kitten Ashcraft and Emma Craig are currently perform. And then great-grandson Ethan is a senior here in band and choir. So as we wrap up, I just offer a few points to consider. Number 1, a love of music. Ed taught many to love a variety of music for a lifetime. So if you can imagine a movie or wedding without music, music is truly a gift. Number 2, and Max alluded to this, a sense of community, a responsibility and an opportunity to represent Kingman. Ed instilled a strong sense of community as students regularly performed in the Christmas parade, rodeo parade, in the summer, and Walnut Hills Cemetery for Memorial Day. The rodeo parade was in the summertime, and as a band director, you always put the band in front of the horses. And Memorial Day was after school was out, but students always volunteered and stepped up. They recognized that sense. And third, the gift of belonging, contributing to something bigger than yourself. In band, everybody does their part at the same time to accomplish the same goal. Third chair cornet and the first chair saxophone player all have to step up. There's no substitutions. And everyone contributes to the success and enjoys the satisfaction of the job well done. Kingman has given Ed and our family many great memories and lasting friendships. Thanks again from Ed and our family to Kingman High School, the community of Kingman, and the KHS Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I'm Toby Munns. I teach here. I've been here since 2007, coach baseball since that time, and I have 2 kids that are playing basketball right now, and they asked if I was going to be there for the game, and I said, yeah, shouldn't be too long. And then Raleigh told me that Max was going to introduce somebody, and I said, kids, I'll have to watch it on video. The next guy I'm going to talk about is kind of a big deal. Big deal. Chet Hartley graduated in 2005. He was an accomplished football and basketball player for Kingman High School, and I can guarantee you, if I was here, we'd have found a pair of baseball pants to fit together. He then attended Butler County Community College, where he started as an offensive lineman. He played in 2 junior college bowl games. After junior college, he chose Kansas University, over Florida State and Illinois, and was a 2-year starter for the Jayhawks. He played on KU's victorious 2008 Orange Bowl team, and also played on KU's victorious 2008 Insight Bowl. Hartley is currently involved in his family business, as well as serving as an assistant Kingman Middle School football coach. Eagle fans, Mr. Chet Hartley.
Now, I'm not much for giving speeches, but I'd like to thank the committee and thank everybody for coming, and congratulations to the other inductees. And like I said, thanks for all your hard work. You guys did good, and thanks for everybody coming.
I think one more time for Ed Craig, Lester Donnelly, Don Locke, Chet Hartley. Okay, thank you for coming. You've all seen them. There's tables out there with memorabilia. Please go through those, look at them, meet and greet, talk, share stories. There's cookies out there. Our facts class. Those are pretty cool cookies if you've seen them. But take some, eat them. They're awesome. We have a girls varsity basketball game at 6. And then these Hall of Fame members will be introduced after the girls varsity game. So approximately 7:20, 7:30. So feel free to visit here and then slowly make your way either at 6 to watch the girls play or be over there by about 7:20. And family members, they're at the southeast corner. The first 5 rows are reserved. There's signs down there that are reserved for you. Feel free to sit there and enjoy your evening. So thank you so much.